Now, this is quite an odd video for me. This video is created mainly for my DM of a game I will be playing in but hasn't happened yet to listen to. You see, we are planning on playing a game that's going to be set in the Elder Scrolls world. And I'm planning on either playing an Argonian or a Khajiit. And the main deciding factor will be how good either one of these voices are. The voice you just heard was obviously this one's Argonian voice. Argonians are really rough voiced. Khajiits are more, not sure how to describe it, more airy. The main thing about a Khajiit voice is obviously that it is more in the choice of words, no? It is about not using words like I or me. Khajiits speak only in Khajiit or this one. Now, a Khajiit voice is, for me, well practiced. I have played many a Khajiit over the years and I like to speak out the lines that my character says. The problem with a Khajiit voice is that they might be harder to understand. Obviously, my Khajiit voice has never needed to be understood by other people, not to a significant degree. Now, obviously, an Argonian voice it's simple. It's probably also very easy to understand because it's mainly just very rough. I'm not quite sure if this really sounds good, but in my mind at least, this feels like how I would probably sound as Argonian. This is probably about as close as I can get it, at least on short term. Now, obviously, this voice has as one of the major cons that it is probably harder to do than other voices. There is a small limit on how much I can do this. I can't talk like this, for instance, for hours continuously. Given a bit of time to talk, it's easy enough to keep going. But it's also harder to emote with. You can't, at least I can't, really sound, well, many different emotions like this. Now, that is not to say that emotions are not hard for this voice too. In all fairness, both voices, well, this one is not a voice actor, so doing voices is not in this one's nature. So both will probably take away from maybe the range of emotions this one can express. But the question largely is, which one of these two voices is easiest to understand? Would it be easier to understand the very rough and dry voice of the Argonian? Funny, actually, how I would describe this voice as dry, while the Argonians are the race best at swimming. But yeah, that is the question. Would it be better to go for the very dry, very rough voice of my Argonian? Or would it be better to take the Khajiit voice? This one does have more experience with the Khajiit voice, but I fear it might be harder to understand than my Argonian voice. And of course, also the choice of race will have an effect on the character. Currently, it appears that the Argonian voice, well, the Argonian race, will lead to more of a scholarly type, while the Khajiit's voice will lead to more of a dungeon delver. Either way, this one will be playing a wizard, but wizards do take many different shapes, no? Proficiency with stealth, perception, and light armor will lend themselves more to a adventurous dungeon delving wizard, searching for knowledge in many places. While the Argonian's proficiency in nature lends itself more to a bit more of a scholarly type. Both are not, at least with the homebrew races that are used. Both do not lend themselves perfectly to wizard. Neither one of them gets a boost to intelligence, for instance. The Argonians mainly have themselves proficiency in nature, at least for me. Hissed skin, which regenerates health once per day, and the ability to breathe and swim very well underwater. Khajiit, comparatively, they are more stealthily. They have, even when not proficient with any real weapons, or armed with any real weapons, they are good enough at hitting things. They are okay enough in melee range, while an Argonian wizard definitely has to stay out of direct combat. Of course, with this, not every question is answered. This one hasn't decided what subclass to choose next, and is wondering if a homebrew or an Unearthed Arcana subclass would be allowed. So yeah, DM and possibly other people who might be watching this, let me know which voice you think is better, so which race I should probably go for. This has been Phoenix, saying farewell.